Locally owned and operated for over 50 years, Delaware Camera is your #1 spot for all your camera needs, education, accessories, printing, and more. Located at 2635 Delaware Avenue in Buffalo. Visit cameraspot.com.
True believers, Mark from Delaware Camera in our upstairs studio. Tuesday Tech Talks. Every Tuesday we do this at noon, as it is right now. We do these Tech Talks. So.
Not bad.
There we go. Didn't say it's like Jimmy Buffett. Was it like it's some 5 o'clock everywhere? So anyway, we're gonna do our normal housekeeping, and we're gonna talk about the Olympus OM-1 camera, which Lucas here. Say hey, Lucas.
Hello.
We gave it to him. He's a normal Canon shooter. We gave it to him to kind of like test drive and play around with, see how he liked it, and we'll hear his thoughts on it and stuff. So before we do any of that, though. Normal housekeeping. We got a class coming up, Canon, what to shoot when there's nothing to shoot. It's on Zoom, December 22nd, 7 o'clock. If you go to our website, there's a class button there to sign up for. It's free, but you have to register to get the link for the show. 7 o'clock, December 22nd.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, Canon gives us a lot of classes and stuff. I was actually talking to Steven about that earlier. We're gonna start having in-person classes. We have a whole plan for it. In-person classes, the Zoom classes, photo walks next year. It's gonna be a big year as far as events at Delaware Camera, so we're pretty excited about that. Friday we have time to do all these things, which time seems to be short all the time. But anyway, I got this bag in my hand, which you're probably wondering what I'm holding here. It's a Peak Design bag. We just got a big Peak Design order in recently, and we got a whole display by the door, and we've got the backpacks, the slings, and we've got these cool tech pouches, which they have to put smaller things in. I'm over here, Will? Okay. Give you the tech pouch. So I got the backpack, which is cool. Great design. Peak Design is known for their design, no pun intended. Come in the store and check this stuff out. I just want people to know that we have it. What do you got in there? What camera are you on? Well, show it to that camera. So we got those tech pouches, which we just got in. That's a new product we have. So get rid of that, the tech pouch.
I like it.
You can't have it.
I might not leave that.
The sling bag, let's get rid of that. The sling bags, which are good for, side holding. I think this is like a 6-liter one, but we have a variety of sizes. This is the 6-liter everyday sling that Peak Design makes. We also have the things Peak is probably most famous for, the straps. So,
I have that.
Do you?
I love it.
Yeah, so we have, I don't know if people have seen the Peak Design straps, but I'm gonna show it to you real quick and open this. So the reason why Peak Designs are cool is because of this system that they have. So, yeah, I gotta open all this.
It's so good for switching cameras.
Yeah, if you have a few different cameras, or even if you have one camera, it's still a cool system. So they have these, actually you can put it right on that camera. Let's see here. Of course, everything's together because it's brand new. Yeah. So anyway, they have these hooks. Are they anchors? What are they called?
I don't know.
So you put these on the camera, like so.
Maybe anchor. Maybe
Yeah, anchor. Goes onto the camera like that, and then you hook it to the strap, like. This was open. Like this. So you hook it onto the camera like this. Am I in this camera well? Like that. So it's easy. It's an easy, quick release system for your.
And it doesn't feel like it's that strong, but I've had some massive bodies on that, and it's like a tank.
So we have a bunch of this stuff, a variety of colors. I think there's this sage, there is black, there's gray, all that stuff. So we got that Peak Design stuff, which I am throwing off the camera. The camera clutches, if you like to have a handle for your camera. If you want to put it around the handle, you don't want to have a strap or anything, you got this. So the camera clutch, or the camel clutch. If you're familiar with, if I'm not dating myself, the camera clutch, shout out Iron Chic, get rid of that. So what else we got to talk about as far as the store? We've got classes. As you know, we rent stuff, we do photo finishing, Christmas cards this time of year, so we have that. There's some specials on that as well. We do a variety of different novelties like canvases, books, puzzles have been pretty big. Joe has a pretty cool puzzle downstairs of the gold dome, which is really nice, and a lot of people have ordered puzzles because they've seen that. So it's a cool, unique gift that you can get, but there's a variety of them on our website. So if you're looking for that stuff, I think they're outsourced, so the deadline for doing those is coming up pretty quickly. So if you want to get cool, like cool novelties from your pictures, now is the time to do so. So we're going to talk about Olympus cameras. Are we going to take a break, Will, or are we going to just go into it? All right, go into it. So Lucas here, who I shoot weddings with fairly normally.
We have done quite a bit.
Yeah, I asked him to. I asked him to kind of test drive these Olympus cameras that we have, and we gave him the which was the first one we gave you. This one, more of a consumer grade. This is the M10 Mark IV.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have this very small camera.
Beautiful camera.
Yeah, very small. And it's cool because, like, you know, a lot of people, they're looking for a small camera that you can change lenses on. This is that. I know a lot of people looking for the Fuji, is it the 100V that people are looking for?
Yes.
Yeah. This is a smaller camera than that, I think.
I've sold 2 of those.
Have you?
It's actually notorious for being bought and sold quite a bit.
Yeah, we had a customer come in looking for one of those for his son yesterday. Yeah. But yeah, so this is a smaller camera than that, and that's one of the cool things about Olympus cameras, like their tiny size. And then they have the more pro Olympuses, like this is the OM-1, which you took out recently. So tell us what you like about, or give us some thoughts on like observations with things you've done with these cameras.
So I use both for a little bit. I would say this is a little more family oriented.
Yeah.
And then this is a little more sports and action, just because the massive grip on it when you're using the larger lenses, which, to be honest, are never really that large on a system like this. Which is a really good thing. Yeah. So I use this a little more birds in flight action, and I thought this was a little more family friendly, just because, you know, you put that on the Peak Design strap, you barely know it's there. Yeah, it's not as, like, you know, what do you call it, obtrusive? Like you're not being intimidated by a big old camera. You got this like little guy, which the lens is tiny.
Yeah, it's like that's a 14 to 42. It's not like just like a. It's not like a.
It's a good zoom range.
Yeah, it's not like a pancake. It's got a zoom.
And it's like largest. It's actually down in there.
Yeah. Was that one?
Double stack pancake.
Double stack pancake. What lens is considered to be a double stack pancake, Will? This one.
Did you just coin that term? That's a good one.
That's what we're doing here. We're coining terms.
It's a good one.
Trademarks. So anyway. So did you use this with the 12 to 20, 12 to 40? I want to
focus a little more on this one just because this is like the OM Digital Solutions flagship that they released, so it's pretty exciting.
Which is what Olympus is called now, or going to be called now, or is called now, OM Digital Solutions. So.
Yes, it's kind of cool. I like it. It's kind of a cool name. So this has the 20 megapixel quad pixel, which is basically kind of interesting. It's a little newer thing that they're doing. Basically, like within each pixel, there's 4 little tiny ones. Yeah. And then they record in a shape of an X. Okay. So you're bringing in almost like 4 times the information in 1 pixel than the previous model. Yeah. Which is awesome because the previous one was a little contrast only. This is much better for picking up specific objects like birds or cats or stuff like that. So that's new.
So it says, I'm seeing your notes here. So it says stacked sensor. So is that like the stacked sensor, like on like say like a Z9 or like an R3?
So that allows this camera to do some really cool stuff. Yeah. You can shoot up to 50 FPS on it. So 50 frames per second.
Did you try that?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It was very cool. For birds in flight, that is killer.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of options.
Very cool.
In my notes, I have killer weather sealing. This thing is wicked. You can go out in a snowstorm, you can go out in the rain with it. It's rated for some pretty big abuse. And when you're doing wildlife and you want some shots that no one else gets, going out in weather like that, you know, that's a very important thing.
I'm always afraid to take my cameras out in any sort of weather. I'm just like I don't need that shot that much. So. Yeah. So what else you got as far as your notes?
So, so that 50 frames per second, which is even more insane when you think about it, it's blackout free. Okay. Which is pretty crazy. On a lot of mirrorless cameras that are even more expensive, this one, when you're shooting, it like as it's recording the image, it has to wipe the sensor clean because there's no shutter there. So every time it's doing that, you're getting a black in the viewfinder. So if you're following an eagle, a bird, or anything, you're going like this, and all of a sudden you're getting that blackout. If that bird's going like this, going like that, going like this, you're gonna miss it, which is huge. In this camera, you don't have that. You can just fire away and follow that guy the whole way, which is super impressive. The one thing that's really fantastic on this camera that I love is the in-body image stabilization. And in one of the images, I don't know when he's showing that, if he's showing that or whatnot, I did some color painting with it, which I was coming home from a family shoot. It was kind of like, what do they call that after a sunset? Where like it's a secondary color that pops up. I forget what the name
I'm not
of it
a sunset shooter.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I barely know what golden hour is.
Afterglow. It's called the Afterglow. Afterglow. That is the name of it. A little bit after the sun sets, you get a really cool blue and orange. And it's my favorite. I love it. So what I did is I pulled the side of the road. I shot it like 1/4 of a second, which should not be possible handheld. And was just waiting until cars would come by, and I would pan with it and shoot at the same time with the shutter open. This big like dually truck came by, and it had like the orange lights on top and on the mirror and everything, and it made a really cool contrast with the blue sky. So that was awesome. That camera stayed. I mean, you could even like zoom in on the image, and there's like power lines in the back, and they are crystal sharp.
Nice.
So that was pretty impressive. It's got dual cards, which I think every camera should have nowadays.
Does it take SD?
Yes. Which is nice. It's not two different cards. You know, it's two of the same, which is cool. It has this really cool thing, high res mode, which you basically shoot a series of images, and it will come out as like an 80 megapixel file, which is pretty crazy out of a camera with a sensor that's small like that. That's really cool how they do that.
Micro Four Thirds,
So, and there's two different ones. There's a handheld high-res mode, which does 50 megapixels, and then if you have a tripod, you can do 80 megapixels. So that's the one thing that, like, I noticed about this camera. I didn't even have enough time to figure out everything in this thing. I mean, it has a ton of really cool tricks up its sleeve. You can do a bunch of different really cool things with it. The viewfinder is absolutely beautiful, and it's 5.7 million megapixel viewfinder.
I'm not sure. I feel like the R6 has like 3 point something.
Yes. It's definitely less for sure. And I was actually really surprised when I didn't really think, oh, it's that big of a difference. I looked in there, I'm like, wow. It is crystal clear. They did a great job with that. The one thing that's kind of interesting, and Olympus has come out and said this, is that their continuous focus is good. Is good. But they've said themselves that their continuous focus tracking, don't use it. They literally came out and said that. Well, with this camera, they did an update to that. And if you add subject detection in it, so I was shooting a hawk or these little starling birds, it locks right onto that bird, doesn't let go.
Cool.
And it was, and I tested it through a tree on a hawk. The hawk flew right through a tree, through the branches. It did not release off the hawk. It was super sticky. I went on like this little farm area there, and there was like a whole bunch of little tiny birds flying, and it was locking on all them. I went to the Iroquois swamps with it, went in like a little bird blind there, and was seeing some ducks coming in and everything. And there were some ducks like off in the distance, and it's overcast, which for mirrorless cameras is not normally friendly. Because it's not a lot of contrast in there. Stuck on the duck the whole time, all the way down. So I put that through. I think they did. OM Digital Solutions did a fantastic job with updating that.
So let's get into the things that you really liked about the camera. So tell me about those.
Performance. I was, I went into this because, I'm like Mr. Cannon, full frame. I'm like, I don't know if we're here. Here now? No,
that's you. That's the phone. We're just talking. We're just talking.
So used to full frame ISO performance. So I was kind of going in this like, we'll see what it got. I shot at like 26 or 25, 6,000 with in the house. So I had the 2.8. I think we had that lens in here.
12 to 40.
Yeah, I think it's the one that's on there. So I used that with just available light in the house with the kids running around, doing a bunch of stuff. And I shot it like, I was averaging like 5,000 to 8,000 ISO, and I'm sitting there pixel peeking, zooming all the way on it. I was thoroughly impressed. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know how they do it, but it was awesome. I thought it was really good. Raw dynamic range, I think it's about 12 or 13 stops, which you don't really need more than that.
Yeah.
That does the trick. That's pretty awesome. But my favorite thing, I think, is the frames per second.
Yeah.
To get a camera that will shoot 50 frames per second, that's insane. I mean, what was the 1DX? Those were pro cameras for how long?
Yeah.
Those were like, what, 15, 16 FPS?
Yeah.
So that's a lot of photos you're missing. I mean, that could be, if you're doing soccer and the guy's kicking a goal, you could just miss the ball coming off his foot. When you have that many options, that's fantastic.
Very cool.
Stack sensor, huge, because it makes you be able to do all those cool things with it. And then the one cool thing, it's called the Pro Capture mode. And what this does is as soon as you touch the shutter, so you're doing birds in flight, and it's funny, most of my bird in flight, I'm driving around in the country, I live out in the country, and I'll see something, pull over real quick, hop out, and try to catch it. Well, sometimes you don't hit the focus right away or the shutter right away. So as soon as you half press the button on there, it starts taking images.
Okay.
And then when you press the shutter down, then it's taking images. So before you even think you're taking the picture, it's taking the photo.
So how does it save those?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I didn't get to dive into that quite a bit. I was just kind of messing around with it, and I thought that was pretty cool.
So since we're a real show here, give me one thing that you didn't like about the Olympus.
One thing I did not like.
One thing.
One thing. All right. One thing I did not like.
Okay.
Which I think can actually be fixed with the firmware. I don't think it's like an end-all, be-all.
Yeah.
Is it's a little tricky with the subject detection. So say I'm out in the field and I brought my kids with me and I'm taking pictures of birds and it's locking on.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden I look over, my son's doing something super cute and I want to switch to take pictures of him, it will not pick him up. Okay. Because the detection is not on the face. So it'll keep finding, it'll keep searching, but there are ways around that. So it's super customizable. So you can actually find, even like you've seen this before. I do on my cameras. I switch the record button because I don't do anything with video. Yeah. I switch the record button just as an option, so you can actually hit that and switch the focus thing. So if you're shooting, hit that and rearrange. So it's a negative, but it's not like a deal breaker. There's
you can definitely
around that.
You can can you customize the buttons on this?
Yes, there's one right there. There's a function button. I don't know if you can see that over there, but right there. Okay. That guy.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And ergonomics, I think, are almost second to none. I mean, just feel it. I put them in, it feels fantastic.
Yeah, it looks like I barely, even though we sell these in the store, I barely touch these, but because I never have time to like play around with stuff. You'd think I'd be able to play around with stuff all the time, but no. This is kind of cool how it goes down and in.
Yeah, honestly, it felt really good.
That's really cool. I don't know of any other ones that are like that. They kind of just all kind of go straight up, but it's like a deep thing for like, you know.
My favorite combo was definitely this guy.
The 70.
Yes.
So what's that? That's 7200. It's a 50 to.
So 300. So it says right here 80 to 300.
So 40 to 150.
Yeah, 40 to 150, 2.8.
Yeah.
That lens. Ooh, I love that lens. Focus is fast, super sharp, and have a 300 that's a 2.8. Such a small package. It's like so small compared to like some of these Canon things that are like huge and all that.
Very cool.
You can go around and you can handhold it the whole time. You don't have to have like a little tripod thing to do it. I was even walking around in the house with that just because I was obsessed with the bokeh on it. I really liked it. It had a nice look to it.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for test driving this.
Hey, thank you.
Because I don't. So I'm glad you can. Now I know a little bit more about Olympus cameras and stuff, so I'm pretty psyched about that. So I will definitely mess around with these a little bit more, especially with like the small size on this. I definitely want to.
It's tiny.
Kind of like take this out and see like what it can do, because it's a, if this is if it's usable, this is a good small camera to have.
Look at the size of it compared to a phone. Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that. And that's a regular. Is that a regular 14 or 13?
Yeah, it's not the big one. It's
yeah.
small
So
one.
there you go. Yeah. Cool. So thank you for watching, everyone. Instagram, YouTube, friends. Thanks, Lucas, for coming on. If you like this, like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends, because your friends should become our friends. So like, share, subscribe. Hit that.
Can I say hi to my sisters? They're both watching.
Are they?
Yes. They requested that I send them a link this time. They like to just pick things apart and tell me what not to do.
Just log off.
Oh.
So speaking of like
2 to 3. 3 to 2.
So before we get off here, like on Sunday, I don't know if people are interested in coming along. Sunday, the crew here is going out to the Fatima Shrine to take pictures. So you guys want the Fatima Shrine in Lewiston or Youngstown? We're gonna go there after the store closes on Sunday and take some pictures. We like to do it every year. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's like, it's a church, and there's like this huge, like, there's a lot of statues there and stuff. They light statues there and stuff. So we're gonna go out as a group and take pictures there, and it should be pretty cool. 5 o'clock-ish on Sunday. We're gonna go out there if you want to come along.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Yeah, come along, shoot. And hopefully we'll see a bunch of you in the store this week because we got 10 days till Christmas. Time is running out. You know, we've got a bunch of stuff. Canon.
You're gonna bring this out to play again?
Yeah, Canon, Nikon, Olympus, Fuji, Sony. We have all that stuff. So stop in. We got Peak Design bags. We got a brand new bag display. We've got a new clearance shelf as well. So feel free to stop in, and we will see you next week on Tuesday Tech Talks. Have a good day.
True believers.
True believers. Tuesday Tech Talks live. All that tease.
Locally owned and operated for over 50 years, Delaware Camera is your #1 spot for all your camera needs: education, accessories, printing, and more. Located at 2635 Delaware Avenue in Buffalo. Visit cameraspot.com.